Have you ever felt like you're constantly giving pieces of yourself away, leaving you drained and resentful? Or maybe you found yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable but don't know how to speak up. If this sounds familiar, you might be struggling with setting healthy boundaries. Today, we're diving deep into the world of boundaries, what they are, why they're crucial, and how you can set them effectively. Let's dive in. You see, boundaries are like invisible force fields that protect our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. They define where we end and others begin. But here's the thing. Many of us never learned how to set healthy boundaries. We grew up in families where boundaries were non-existent, or we've been conditioned to always put others first. Whatever the reason, it's time to reclaim our power and learn this essential life skill. But first, let's break down the different types of boundaries, shall we? 1. Emotional boundaries. These protect our feelings and emotional energy. For example, Serenity often found herself absorbing her coworkers' negative emotions, leaving her drained at the end of each day. By setting emotional boundaries, she learned to empathize without taking on others' emotional burdens. 2. Material boundaries. These relate to our possessions and money. Remember when your roommate kept borrowing your favorite sweater without asking? That's a material boundary violation right there. 3. Time and energy boundaries. This is about managing our time and preventing burnout. It's saying no to that extra project at work when you're already stretched thin, or limiting how much time you spend on energy-draining activities. 4. Mental boundaries. These protect our thoughts, values, and opinions. It's about respecting that others have different views, and that's okay. You don't have to argue with every person that disagrees with you on social media. 5. Physical boundaries. This involves our personal space and body. It's our right to decide who can touch us and how close they can get. Think about that hugger friend who doesn't realize not everyone enjoys bear hugs. Now here is why setting boundaries is so darn important. When we don't have strong boundaries, it's like we're walking around without skin. Everything affects us, and we have no protection. Here's what can happen. We're constantly giving our energy away, leaving nothing for ourselves, which can lead to burnout. We say yes when we want to say no, breeding anger, frustration, and resentment. We lose touch with our own needs and desires. Weak boundaries can leave us feeling powerless and sad, which can result in feelings of anxiety and depression. Without boundaries, we might attract people who take advantage of our giving nature. Serenity experienced this firsthand. She was always the go-to person for her friends' problems. Late-night phone calls, constant texts, dropping everything to be there for others. It was exhausting. She loved her friends, but she was burning out fast. It wasn't until she set clear boundaries around her time and emotional energy that she started feeling like herself again. So, the good news is that setting healthy boundaries can transform your life in amazing ways, and here's how. When you set boundaries, you're saying, I matter. It's a powerful act of self-respect. Clear boundaries lead to mutual respect and understanding. People know where they stand with you. By saying no to things that drain you, you have more energy for what truly matters to you. Boundaries help you feel more in control of your life. You're less likely to feel overwhelmed or taken advantage of. If you're still watching, you have now reached the treasure trove of this video, where we will explore how you can set boundaries effectively. But before we continue, I have a small request. If you find this content valuable and want to support our growth, please hit the subscribe button. Your support is crucial and will help us improve tremendously. Thank you. Let's dive back in. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This sounds great, but how do I actually set boundaries? Let's break it down step by step. 1. Know your limits. Take some time to reflect on what you're comfortable with. What makes you feel good? what leaves you feeling drained or resentful. 2. Pay attention to your feelings. Your emotions are like warning bells. If you're feeling angry, resentful, or uncomfortable, it's probably a sign that a boundary needs to be set. 3. Be direct. Communicate your boundaries using clear, simple language. There is no need for long explanations or apologies. 4. Use I statements. Instead of, "You're always late," try, "I feel frustrated when plans don't start on time." This focuses on your feelings rather than blaming the other person. 5. Start small. If setting boundaries is new to you, start with something small. For example, you could ask your roommate to knock before entering your room. 6. Be consistent. Once you've set a boundary, stick to it. Consistency is key in teaching others to respect your limits. 7. Expect pushback. Some people might not like your new boundaries. That's okay. Their reaction is not your responsibility. You might wonder, won't setting boundaries push people away? Well, this is a valid reason to be worried, but the truth is that healthy boundaries actually improve relationships. They create clarity and respect. Sure, some people might not like your new limits, but those are often the people who are benefiting from your lack of boundaries. Serenity worried about this when she started setting boundaries with her friends. She was afraid they'd think she didn't care anymore. But something unique happened. Her friends started respecting her time more, and their conversations became more meaningful. By taking care of herself, she was actually able to be a better friend. Here's another critical point. Boundaries aren't one size fits all. What works for one person might not work for another. It's about finding what feels right for you. Maybe you're okay with friends dropping by unannounced while someone else needs advance notice. Neither is wrong, they're just different boundaries. Setting boundaries is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. You might fumble at first, and that's okay. Be patient with yourself. Each time you set a boundary, you're flexing that self-respect muscle. Boundaries are not about building walls. They're about creating a healthy space for you to thrive. They're acts of self-love and respect. By setting clear boundaries, you're teaching others how to treat you and creating space for more authentic, fulfilling relationships. Recognizing your need for boundaries is the first step towards creating healthier relationships and a more balanced life. If you've been struggling with any of the issues we've discussed today, remember that it's okay to set boundaries and seek support. You deserve to have your needs respected. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more insights on personal growth and well-being. Remember, setting boundaries is a journey, not a destination. Stay strong, keep practicing, and most importantly, take care of yourself.